Hello, welcome back to part 7 of this very juicy series all around lessons learned in 2025 and the intentions that I'm setting in 2026. The way that I have created this is to give you nuggets, things to think about. A lot of the goal setting content I'm seeing is very formulaic. It's a bit like, okay, write your goals down and then get really specific and then take action. It's like, I need a bit more prodding. I need something else. I want to get to the root of what's actually going on. And so what you will hear in these episodes is a lot of mindset stuff. What do I actually need to do? And some of the things I'm going to invite you to explore are going to slightly like pick at the scab of it. That's kind of what it feels like. And even though you want to just put a plaster on it and run away and not think about it again, I want you to do the opposite in this scenario. I want you to explore it. I want you to see why this is happening, what's going on, what your position is with it, all of it. All of it. So in these next few episodes, we're going to be talking about positioning. We're going to be talking about your online presence, aka your digital disco. So that means your website, your social media, what happens when somebody Googles you, what kind of content you have out there, all of that. So the first thing I want you to think about is, where are you up to in terms of the honesty of the process? So I want you to think about your offering and what service or what product you are providing. And I want you to look at your sales page and I want you to read it aloud. And I want you firstly to make sure that it's obvious what it is that you're selling and who you're selling it to, so people recognize themselves in it. But I want you to also really consider that, or whether or not you are talking to a person. You are really meeting them where they are at. Because now is absolutely the time for being honest and saying what it is. I can only really speak for the online self-development world, but I think for a long time, people were repeatedly disappointed because coaches, experts, online providers were saying things such as, just do these 3 things and you too will become a 7-figure business owner. And they were really simplifying the process. Now, as a consumer, that's really compelling. Like, what? I only need to do these 3 things and then I'll be like that? Really? However, as much as we love the simplicity of it, and yes, when it boils down to it, it may be just those 3 things, but it's so nuanced, it's so layered. And this idea that this can happen within an afternoon, I just don't believe it's the case. I think it's always an ongoing process, especially if you want to be in business long term. There are some people who are like, I want to be here for a month. I want to make loads of money. Doesn't care, but I'm not bothered about what I'm selling or whether or not it's in integrity. I'm going to do that, make money and get out. That's never been the kind of career I want to have. So I want you to think about whether or not in your sales pages and in your content, whether or not you're showing enough of who you are. So are you showing the behind the scenes? Are you showing the discipline that is going to be needed and required? Are you showing how you have navigated the blocks? Are you bringing to the surface what might happen? What is completely normal in this situation? Are you sharing your own journey, for example? And I think that when you bring yourself to the table and you join the conversation in that way, you become more connected with your audience because they see you and they see you surviving and navigating and having a go. And if they see a bit of your behind the scenes as well, it's like, well, look, she's doing it. And I know now, as somebody who is seeking support to help me with my business, I want somebody who does and is who they say that they are. I don't want somebody from that thing of like, yeah, just do these 3 things. I want them to be growing and changing and stretching. Those are the kinds of people, as Brené Brown says, I want those people who are in the arena too. So have a think about that, and have a think about how you can switch up your content and your sales pages. Number 2, it's really important, even though you know this, but let me say it again. It's really important that you meet people where they are at, with understanding, with empathy, with encouragement, and yes, of course, with boundaries. I think that there, once again, has been this ongoing narrative where it's like you can only be successful in one way. I do not believe it. Not only is there not just one way to do it, not everybody wants the same. Not everybody's version of success is the same. My version of success is not holding myself up in a basement for 18-hour days and not leaving it. And yes, there might be some business owners who are like, well, you're not serious then, you don't want it enough. I don't care. I don't care. They can say what they like. I don't want to do that. That is not success to me. So when you are putting together your packaging, your services, your products, you have to think about who your audience are and set them up for success. 10 years ago, I had like a 12-week-old baby, and it was just at that point where we were trying to, we felt like we'd nailed leaving the house. So it's like, okay, we've nailed leaving the house. We can go to the supermarket, and now let's like meet some other parents and have conversations with other adults. Let's see what that looks and feels like. And I was always amazed about how, I guess, restrictive these offerings of, say, baby classes were. Like, people would say things like, and like, let me just say, I get this from a business perspective. It must be a really difficult business model. But that thing of saying the only way you can come to this baby class is if you sign up for 20 consecutive Tuesday mornings at 10:45. If you are on maternity leave, for example, or if you're like just having a baby who's figuring out themselves and you're figuring out, and you've got numerous appointments and maybe you've got other kids or whatever, it's really difficult when you've got a tiny baby to know what you're going to be doing for the next 20 Thursdays or Tuesdays, whatever I said, at 10:45. And so therefore, you don't sign up for it. Therefore, you're just like, I'm just not going to make it. So this doesn't feel like a good fit right now. However, if they said something like, okay, you have to buy your classes in a bulk of, say, 5, but you have 10 weeks to use them. And if you don't use them, you can give one of them to your friend and they can come instead. Like, I don't know how workable that is as a business model, but I'm just throwing it out there. If they did that, suddenly there's a conversation. Suddenly it feels doable. So make sure that your format is really nuanced. It's really considered in terms of your audience, not only where they're up to in business, but where they're up to in life. Number 3, I would love to share with you my words of 2026 and stick to just that. So let me just show you, because I did my planning at the beginning of the year. I was thinking about what I wanted my content to stand for, how I wanted it to feel, what my intentions were, mainly so I could be very streamlined in terms of my preparation and my delivery, but also to be able to continue to build my audience so they knew that they were in the right place. Because there's nothing worse than signing up for something or watching something and like 12 minutes in, you're just like, or even 2 minutes in, you're thinking, this person isn't for me, or this doesn't represent where I'm up to or where I'm going. So here are some of the things that I thought about, and I would love you to do the same. So when I was thinking about words and feelings, I came up with the following. The first, warmth and encouragement. I know that there are so many people on the internet who do that like shouty thing really, really well, where they kind of burst onto your screen. That's not how I want it to be. I want it to have that sense that we're having a cup of tea, we're having a chat, and I can support you and guide you, because I know that you're not just watching this like after a fresh blow dry and feeling great. You might have been awake all night. You might have 3 kids off school and they've all got chicken pox and suddenly you're having to like work around them. I know that you've maybe got your mother-in-law to come in to stay this weekend and you just don't know if you can add anything else to your plate. I know you've got a lot going on. And so for me to take that approach where I'm a bit shouty and I'm a bit condescending, it's just never going to work, is it? It's never going to work. So warmth and encouragement, always. Number 2, possibility and opportunity. I would love to create, and this is how I'm always thinking in terms of my content, and I would love you to do the same thinking about yours. When I'm thinking about the kind of conversations that I have in my client sessions, or whether I'm going to be booked at a company or a speaker convention, or I'm running a workshop, or I'm doing something in person, I always feel like those moments are moments where we're planting seeds for the next thing. We're really considering and just creating, and things are percolating. It's a really beautiful moment of creation. And then I want those seeds to grow, to change, to evolve, to strengthen, to double, to repeat, to be shared, to do all of those things. And so when I bring people together and when I work with people, there are moments where somebody, to use the analogy again, people go, I know the seeds I want to plant, but I have no idea how to make them grow. And I love those moments when I go, I do though. And if we do this and we create this environment and we put this with this and we devise this, this is how it's going to grow. And I love creating those rooms where the work that I deliver and the people who are in there to create that energy, it goes all over the shop. And I think that if we are content creators, if we are marketing our businesses, if we are sharing free content online, we have to think in that sense of possibility and showing people what we know. When I was a kid, I knew nobody who was doing what I wanted to do. I was literally like the opposite of a Nepo baby. I didn't have like a mum's friend who worked in PR. My auntie lived in London. Okay, so that is a slight privilege as well. My auntie lived in London. So we came to London to see her and my cousins and my uncle quite a bit. But she wasn't in the industry. She couldn't put a word in. Well, now I see that, because I have an agent, and the other day I had to do a casting for something and they were looking for a child who was a similar age to my daughter. And I said, well, shall I just take with my daughter? My daughter, age 6, having a professional audition. It's not something I've ever pushed her into, but we got a recall. And so I understand, the power of that possibility of an opportunity. And I think that so often we are limited in what people think we can do, or what people think that we're capable of. And always, I want to know it all. And I want to hold that space for that possibility and opportunity. Thirdly, solutions and simplicity. I think so much of business online is full of jargon. It's really binary. I always think it's like, unless you do these 3 things, you're not serious. And many of us have different brains and we work in different ways, and that's why it's important for me to work across different platforms, because I know sometimes people need to hear from me. They need to watch a video. Sometimes they need to come and see me live. Sometimes they like to read something, and not just me, like other people that you follow as well. And I always want to make sure you have those solutions. And going back to that possibility and opportunity, I want you to know what to do next, and to have that sense at the end of some content of like, I think I could do that too. I think I'm going to do that. It's exactly where we want to be. Finally, I want it to be activating and implementing. I want it to stir something in you. Always. I want you to, like I do often, sometimes I'll be working and I'll see something, and like we would with shareable videos, or sometimes I'll go down to the kitchen and I'll say to my partner, like, I've just seen this thing and I just heard this woman say this thing, and can I send you this podcast, because I think it would be really interesting for you to listen to as well. I want to create that kind of content that stirs something for you. Not just being like, yeah, I watched your video, done. I want it to ignite something in you. And finally, I want you to do something with it. I don't just want you to get motivated and in the feeling of it. I want you to go, okay, so now, today is my day where I'm going to do this thing. So I want you to be able to take action. I guess we've all been to these classes sometimes where we hear the speaker, and sometimes you come away and you go, I don't actually know what to do next though. Like, it was quite interesting, but I don't know how to practically implement it. I always want to help you to move to the next step, even if it's just 1%, 2%, 5, 10, but I want you to have that sense that you can do that. I hope that's been useful today. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you would love some help in terms of the planning of your digital disco, do get in touch. Equally, you can check out your digital disco. It's an online program, but there are 3 ways to join. 2 of the options have one-on-one support. If the beginning of your year is your moment for being like, okay, I need to sort this out, I need to be visible, I need to be more consistent, check out down below, because there's a code. If you enter magic at checkout, you can get 20% off. Lots of love, or just send me an email and I'll see you in the next part.